Guys, welcome to our huge Manchester United debate. Today we are discussing the legend, the icon, that is Michael Carrick. At 35 years old, we know he cannot keep doing this forever, despite the fact that he continues to be absolutely phenomenal at the game of football. So each of you, I'm joined by Adam, Dave and Rachael, have the choice of selecting one footballer in world football they recommend Manchester United sign or reallocate from within the squad to be a long-term replacement for Michael Carrick. They will each then sort of have a little debate about that person, then we'll move on to the next. So, Adam, please start us off. You can, yeah, do you not want to be?
On to the next
Ladies
one.
first then, Rachael.
The next one. I'm first.
Brilliant. Dave.
So, well, first off, I think we've got to look at what Michael Carrick does for Man United, or what Michael Carrick has done for Man United over his career. He's been one of the best defensive midfielders in the Premier League and not in the world, let's say. But in terms of the way he plays with the ball, the way he reads the game, I think that's something that you've got to replace. You've got to replace someone that's going to control the tempo, that's going to be able to play those forward passes that some players are afraid to play, those dangerous passes that potentially will get intercepted, but at pace, at power, with precision. That is what Michael Carrick is as a footballer. He gets the tempo set from deep. So in terms of who potentially could replace Michael Carrick, I think you've potentially got to look outside the squad for right now. I feel there's solutions later on, given certain players grow a little bit older, the likes of Paul Pogba potentially could play as a number 6 in the latter stages of his career, controlling the tempo. We know he's got a great range of passing, but right now I feel that we've got to bring someone in. Been linked with the likes of Bakayoko. That's a very different player to what Michael Carrick is, more of a box-to-box player, an energetic player. Fabinho at Monaco, his teammate, also quite a very good player, maybe more Michael Carrick-esque than Bakayoko. But I'd go over to Portugal and I'd get William Carvalho. I feel like he'd be the perfect guy to replace Michael Carrick. He's sort of your evolved form of a defensive midfielder, physically very strong, very, very good on the ball. But what he does give Sporting Lisbon and Portugal at the European Championships is that ability to play football from deep and get the tempo started. His ability to switch the play is absolutely fantastic in the Portuguese league. Only Pizzi and Pedrinho have completed more long balls than William Carvalho. So he's the guy switching the play. He's the guy getting the tempo started. In terms of forward passes, he's got that there. And I just feel like he's physical enough to allow Paul Pogba, if it's a three-man midfield with Pogba and Herrera, to allow William Carvalho just to sit on his own. And he's powerful enough, he's physical enough to deal with counter-attacks and pretty much hold midfield alone. Even if you went to a 4-2-3-1 with Antoine Griezmann going in at number 10, Carvalho would have enough to sit on his own and allow Paul Pogba to be as a number 8, but an aggressive number 8 that's going to get into that final third. And that is why I feel like the Portuguese international is the right guy to go for.
Okay, Adam and Rachael, feel free to question Dave about his choice.
Has he still got that moustache, Dave?
I think it's gone now. I think it's gone. I think he's moved on.
You think it's gone?
It's gone.
You think?
Let's say it's gone.
I'm not too convinced by your answer there, Dave.
Do you not think we should stay in squad? Because I feel like a lot of our transfers over the last few years haven't settled in as we have expected them to.
Nice question,
Dave.
Rachael.
That's a very good question, Dave. And I think Rachael...
Well, let Dave answer the question, Adam.
Yeah.
I think in terms of what we've got in our squad, I don't think we've got quite a Michael Carrick replacement, and that's the issue.
I think we do. I think we do.
We don't have a player
Calm
that
down, Rachael. Don't tell
ready,
him everything yet.
is mature enough
You'll ruin the show.
Play that position to dictate the play, to intercept, to be the calming influence. And I think that's the thing. There's a lot of young players that potentially could play this role, but in that position, you need someone that's a little bit more switched on, that's got experience. And William Carvalho just won the European Championships. Looks like potentially Sporting Lisbon might go on to win the Portuguese league. He's got that. He's got that experience in there already, and that's why he'd be an instant solution that would come in. And he's got it all for the Premier League, physical, as I mentioned.
Famous words, the wise old man Paul Merson. I could win the Portuguese league, Dave.
Wow. Let me ask you this, Dave. United have been linked to William Carvalho before. I think a couple of years ago we were really heavily linked, and a few other big teams around Madrid, I think, have been linked to him, so have PSG. Why has a move not transpired for him yet?
So that summer, he didn't move. And it was all geared for the summer afterwards, and unfortunately he broke his leg within the first month of the season, and that's why it's taken a little bit of time for him to get back. He was halfway through last season. He came back from the leg break, and then started playing again and playing very well. There's something that he's developed over the last few seasons is the sort of clip ball over the top to a forward, and that's what Man United, you think of the forwards that come inside under Mourinho, would be perfect. He was a brilliant assist this weekend for Gelson Martinez. That was a fantastic ball over the top for an in-rushing forward, and again, that's something else that William Carvalho has developed in the last half of the season.
Did you say, how do we know he's not lying?
Yeah.
I stand
we
with
have
Adam.
to take his word for this.
Okay. Should I just hang up on him? Is that it?
Dave, also,
Rachael, would you like to present your player?
I would
Yes, Adam.
That isn't even an argument. How do you know you're not lying? What? So you're saying that I'm just lying. I'm not.
He never gave an assist on the weekend. And also, you said he just broke his leg. What can we rely on a player who just broke his leg?
Yeah, injury prone.
He broke his leg over a season.
I don't think anyone can say someone who's broken their leg is injury prone.
Well, he is. He might do it again.
Well, he might, but it's not like someone who's been constantly injured with loads of niggles, is it?
Maybe he brings defenders onto him and he draws them in straight to the leg.
Yeah.
We all want to win.
He's got a big arrow on his sock pointing to his broken leg. Snap me.
This is a madness.
We're supposed to on his argument, and that's just what.
Well, I guess.
Job.
Okay, the person that wins this debate is the person who puts forward the best argument, not necessarily the one that has to deal with the maddest questions. Rachel.
Hold on, Sam. I'm getting his injury record out so we can talk about it right now.
Nice.
You'll give me 2 seconds.
Stop Googling, Dave. You can't
That's
Google.
not what we're doing here.
You're asking me stupid questions like, is his leg break mean he's injury prone? A stupid question. So
Dave,
unfortunately, Adam, I need to go on to Google and quickly check his injury record, mate.
Focus. Statman, crack it up.
Oh,
Okay.
Me and Adam haven't got a fair chance to have done any research.
Right,
That
Rachel,
crack it up.
tell us your choice.
I want to stay in club. I want to stay with my favourite player ever. Sorry. I want to stay with my favourite player ever, Daley Blind.
Okay, tell us why.
Daley Blind is obviously the perfect choice to be our next Michael Carrick. 1, because he's already at our club, so he's going to cost us nothing. 2, and also because he's just very good for that role. He is a good defensive midfielder. I think he's a smart player, which is a high level intelligence is required for a playmaker. There's somebody who can see all the play in front of them and can spot and execute the key passes we need when going forward. I think I personally think he's very composed on the ball and doesn't he lives up to the big challenges. You know, when he played centre back for us for the last few years, he's proved to us that he can overcome issues that he has, like his height and his speed, by being an intelligent player. You know, when we played Everton, like he completely took Lukaku out of the game, which nobody expected from him. You know, he handled Aguero quite well in the last 2 years. He's good. And he's naturally now, he knows how to defend. He can easily slip in between central defenders if we need the cover for it. You know, he knows where to be. We saw at the start of the season when he was playing with Bailly, he can direct a back line. So I feel like he can take charge of a team. And also, he's got a great pass on him and a great range of passing on him. I think Daley Blind is the best option.
Okay, I think it was a very good argument. I'm sure Dave and Adam disagree, though, guys.
Surely you would have already done it now.
No, right, I've got a theory. Do you want to hear it? Do you know how Chelsea were playing a back 4 at the start of the season, but behind closed doors they were learning about the back 3, but they were waiting until it was perfection, until they brought it out, and then they just took off and said goodbye to everybody else? That's what's happening with Daley Blind.
But you said he was a natural fit for that position. So if he's a natural fit for that position, why are we only doing it behind closed doors?
Because Michael Carrick is also a natural fit for that position, and he's still playing there at the moment.
But he gets subbed after 45 minutes every week now.
That was because he was slightly injured and Hull didn't need a defensive playmaker because they were just coming nowhere near us.
Can Daley Blind do it on a cold, wet, windy night at Stoke? That's what I want to know. I think the answer to that.
He's performed there before at centre-back. He was...
Based on our very recent performance at Stoke, none of our players can. So I'm not sure that's the criteria we're looking for.
You haven't heard my argument yet, Sam.
I think in terms of Daley Blind, what potentially might not fit at defensive midfield is that physicality that Mourinho likes. He likes a holding midfielder that is going to be a little bit more physical than, you know, for example, Louis van Gaal. Daley Blind potentially could have worked in that position because it's more of a ball-playing position. But with Mourinho, it is dealing with the counter-attacks. Daley Blind has massively improved.
Is Michael Carrick that physical on the ball?
Michael Carrick can put a tackle in when he needs to.
Michael Carrick.
Surprisingly big guy, yes. I kind of agree with that. That aerially he's pretty underrated in terms of what he does. The only thing with Daley Blind is that we've seen when he's played centre-back that there has been slight tactical tweaks. For example, Marouane Fellaini having to cover him in position to deal with direct aerial balls. And that would be the only thing with Daley Blind. Potentially, he doesn't have that strength in that position in terms of his ball playing. Yeah, I agree with you. He definitely could come in and be a defensive midfielder in there. You know, he played there for Ajax. But unfortunately, he's not played there consistently for, 3 seasons at United? So it's just one of those things where it would be a baptism of fire, and he's not played there yet for Mourinho. So is Mourinho going to trust him there at a really key position in his system?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, Rachel,
Is he going to trust
that?
a young Portuguese guy with a moustache?
Sorted.
Adam hates moustaches.
Even though he's sort of got one. Integrated with a bit, but still.
Daley Blin's got hair.
No, he does not.
I think we can all agree that Daley Blind doesn't have terrible hair. He's got great hair.
You're chairing this. You can't get involved. Listen.
I agree. I'm just trying to keep the pot stirring, but I won't allow madness like Daley Blin's got bad hair. His hair's brilliant.
I know.
He looks like an extra in Game of Thrones.
You do what you can to win, don't you?
Pardon?
You do what you can to win.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Right, Adam, off you go.
Right. See, basically, I thought of an argument because I thought that Statman and Rachael and all this stuff were going to come out with like Saul Niguez and all these signings and that we could potentially make. And I think they are great options. But I've gone with Timothy Fosu-Mensah.
Should have spotted it a mile away.
I'll tell you why it's Timothy Fosu-Mensah. Basically, he's one of the best young players about. Timothy Fosu-Mensah as well can play in that position. It's one of his natural positions. He's strong, he's quick, he's robust, he can pass the ball on. He doesn't really move from that defensive area. He could be a great shield to our centre halves, and he could also be a great cover to our fullbacks as well. In the same way Michael Essien was for Jose Mourinho at Chelsea, I believe Timothy Fosu-Mensah can be that guy. Also, you hear about us yesterday. You hear about the news coming out about us signing Antoine Griezmann for 85 million or whatever it is. We do not need to keep going out buying all these players. We've spent so much money this year. We're going to spend so much money in the summer again. Do we need to keep going out and buying all these big names and putting pressure on players that may not work out? Timothy Fosu-Mensah, for me, is a player that would tick the box in terms of youth and continue that tradition at the club. It would give a player at the club an opportunity, a player that, in my opinion, if we don't give him opportunities, will leave and become one of the best players about. Because I think he is that good. And Timothy Fosu-Mensah, I think, is a Jose Mourinho kind of guy. At the moment, we've got Michael Carrick. I'm not saying he's anything like Michael Carrick. He is not like Michael Carrick. But I think Manchester United, we're not playing with a 2 midfield now. We are going to play with a 3. So in Ander Herrera and Paul Pogba, we have got 2 people. Paul Pogba is passive. Now, he's been hit and miss a little bit for United this season, but Paul Pogba's passing has been immense. Ander Herrera's energy and his recycling of the ball, so his ability to pick up the ball, intercept the ball, and then pass it on to his teammates is fantastic. So all Timothy Fosu-Mensah needs to do is be the blocker, be the cover for that defence, get across the pitch, and then pass the ball on to those 2 guys. And that, my friends, he can do a piece of piss, no problem, all day long. We've seen him do it last season. Remember that game at Spurs? He goes off.
He played right back at Spurs.
I don't
not
care
at
where
defensive midfield, man.
He was all over the field. He was all over the field, mate. He can do it in game. This is what I'm saying. He's not a right back. Everyone knows he's not a right back. He played right back. He bossed it.
It's a very well presented argument.
Right back to get minutes at the moment. We know Rashford ain't a winger. He's a striker. Marshall's not a winger. He's a striker. They're playing there to get minutes and develop their game. And that's why I think Timothy Fosu-Mensah is the man to be Carrick's replacement.
Okay, it's a good argument. I liked it.
What I would say on that, I agree with everything you said about a new signing being the wrong choice.
Let's move on. I want.
No, because you made multiple points there, Adam. The wrong choice, we shouldn't have a signing in squad. However, I would say the issue with, we're talking about a replacement for Carrick long term. I can almost give it to you slightly that maybe in the future Fosu-Mensah would be very good in that position. However, let's say we're talking next season. He's not ready for that. You talk about his youth as a positive, which is true, and maybe he is good enough. But one, I don't think he's proved that he can handle the pressure week in, week out in the Premier League. And 2, for a position that's so dictative, like that position that Michael Carrick plays, does he hold the respect of all those players around him to have to tell those experienced players what to do? Now, David Blind might not be like the star of our team right now, but he definitely has the respect.
You know who you sound like, Rachel? You sound like Alan Hansen in 1995-96 when he said you can't win anything with kids. That's exactly how you sound.
That's not true at all. Because I'm not saying that not saying we can't have kids in the team. I'm saying that
from what you were saying.
Well, it's not my fault you can't listen correctly. My point is, I don't know if you can have somebody that young and that inexperienced telling everybody around him what to do.
Dave, you're very quiet on the Fosu-Mensah issue.
Yeah, let's address a few things you said there, Matt. First up, Saul Niguez isn't a number 6, so won't come in to replace Michael Carrick. Number 2, Michael Essien didn't play defensive midfield for Chelsea. It was more Makelele, right? In terms of Timothy Fosu-Mensah, of what you said, I kind of agree. Eventually, he may play that position. Eventually, that's where his calling is. But Mourinho, at the moment, is playing him at fullback. Why is he playing him at fullback? Because he's a young player and needs experience. Playing minutes,
Dave.
Correct. And I don't feel that he's right to replace Carrick right now. And I think that's why a solution of going inside the club and somebody else, potentially someone like David Blind, who has that experience, could be the right guy. In terms of ball playing, is the only thing that I consider being a weakness for Timothy Fosu-Mensah right now. You know, you go to mention the Spurs game where he was absolutely brilliant at fullback. You know, 100% of his 5 tackles, 5 interceptions, was so dominant around the pitch. But when he had the ball in that game, he was very, very poor. Only completed 56% of his passes. And potentially that is why Mourinho's looking at him right now to be like, hey, let's get him minutes at right back. Let's get him minutes at left back, at centre back. Let him play a bit of football in defence. And then when he's like 23, when he's 24, when he's had that experience, bang, then he's in defensive midfield.
How do you get experience if you don't play, though? He's not playing. He's going to go, Dave.
He can play at right back.
He's going to go. That's simple. He's going to go.
He can play it right back.
Keep putting Marshall on the bench.
Right,
go.
Guys, I'm going to interrupt you all because at the moment you're all rambling. So you get 30 seconds now each just to say a final piece on your choice of player, and then we will make a decision. So, Dave, you went first, so you've got 30 seconds. Go.
Well, I feel like William Carvalho can be the guy to replace Michael Carrick. He's got all the role attributes in terms of his ball playing, his physicality, his ability to win tackles, to be the Michael Carrick replacement. And of course, he can allow Paul Pogba to get into the penalty area and be dangerous in that area. And that is why William Carvalho would be the perfect signing for Manchester United if they weren't to look within the club.
Boom. 20 seconds. Great job. Rachel, go.
I think David Blind is the right option, not only because he's in the club right now so that he can learn off Michael Carrick while he's still playing that position, but also because he's a great ball player and he's great in defence. And all the arguments against him, I think he's proved against when he was at centre-back. For example, he's too smart to be beaten by quick defenders, quick attackers.
It was very brief. Nice. Adam, go.
Timothy Fosu-Mensah would do a lot of things for Manchester United. It would make us keep up with our youth, which is a tradition we all want to do. It would mean we don't have to splash out on a big money midfielder and bring in someone that's going to have more pressure on his head. And also it would mean that we get a big, hard bastard in our midfield.
Because Paul Pogba doesn't do that already.
Yeah, he's not a defense. He's not going to defensive.
Summing up, guys. Come on, let each other speak.
He's not going to be a defensive midfielder. Is Pogba? Timothy Fosu-Mensah is that guy. That's it.
Okay, nice. Thank you.
You did say in our midfield, though.
Rachel, this is not a presidential debate where anyone can just chirp in any old nonsense they want. We respect each other. We let each other speak.
Oh, people don't
Come
have
on.
Rachel.
Just turn into Trump. Right, so it's my job now to pick the person who I think has won this, and I hope you can do the same. And the idea is not to pick on your own perceptions or belief as to who you think would be best, but my job is to pick the person who I think made the best argument and dealt with the criticism from the others the best. And on this occasion, I am going with Statman Dave, because I think he argued very well for William Carvalho, and the criticism that came for that choice was mostly based on his moustache. Whereas Daily Blind has pointed out he has not played in midfield for about 2 years at least, and of course that Timothy Fosu-Mensah has such limited experience to step into the squad and be a replacement for Michael Carrick, who isn't someone who's sort of in the fringes, is so integral to the team. So Dave wins. Everybody else, let us know what you thought.
So many other midfielders we could sign that are better than William Carvalho. I just went with Fosu because I'm
just telling you who I thought argued best.
Argument side of things.
I questioned our recent transfer policy and how nobody's settling into the side, and I feel that was a very good point.
That was a lovely point, but people also pointed out that Daily Blind hasn't played as a central midfielder for years.
If Fosu played in Portugal, Statman would be reading off all these stats about how he's tearing it up. Because
but he's only. You should have brought this to the table earlier.
Why do we think when some geezer's doing it in Portugal?
Matt, he won the European Championship. He was an integral part of that system, man.
Greece won the European Championship.
Yeah, and it was a great performance. Great performance from Greece, a team collective performance. You're seeing someone at defensive midfield.
Signed whatever his name was at centre half just because
defensive midfield, right?
Guys,
I'm calling
it's over.
Man, bollocks.
It's over. Just in case anyone's panicking about this, guys. Just in case, Adam,
Mark, it's all right.
Adam,
maybe next time.
Don't worry. This doesn't really mean that's what's going to happen. It's just I thought that Dave did a better job of arguing his case.
No, but I just feel.
Get in the comments below. Let us know what you think.
If we're going to sign players, there's so many players we could sign that are better than Carvalho.
Go on.
Okay, well, you should have picked one of them. Right, get in the comments below. Let us know what you thought. This has to finish now. Adam, I'm sure, will be in the comments too because he is not happy about this. See you soon.